Sorry, I had to mute everybody in the background because they were talking too much. Vader's talking crap. Tom's having a good time. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast Late Night Edition. I am, of course, your host, Alex the Salty Nerd. Tonight we're going to be talking about The Witcher Season 2. Is it good or not? Do the writers think you're stupid for not liking Season 1? All kinds of good stuff to talk about this week. I am joined by a fantastic panel of nerds. Let me see. How do I fix this? Boom. There we go. We got Matt Vader picking his nose. Conspiracy Tom is back. And, of course, the writer himself, Matthew Kadish, all in the house. All right, guys, before we dive super deep into Season 2, real quick, if you guys want to...
What are we talking about?
The Witcher Season 2. What did I say? Did I say that?
I thought we were talking about Wheel of Time. I can't talk. I got to go.
No. No, I do. I refuse to watch that god-awful show. The trailers look horrendous. Hold on. All right, guys. If you guys want to support what we do here at the Salty Nerd Podcast, go to saltynerdclub.com and jump into the club membership. You guys are going to get 4 exclusive podcasts every single month dedicated for the patrons by the patrons. This month we are doing Doctor Who, and we've got some cool special guests coming along. David Hewlett is in there talking about Doctor Who with us. So jump into saltynerdclub.com and help support what we do here.
And next month, we're tackling Buffy.
Next month is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is our ambassador of estrogen, Jude's pick. So if you guys are Buffy fans, or if you know somebody who's a Buffy fan, let them know. All right, let's frickin' do this. All right, Season 2 of The Witcher. Quick synopsis. It picks up right after the big battle, season finale of the last season. Yennefer uses her fire magic, which is a forbidden art, to destroy the Nilfgaardian army. I think, is it MILF? Like moms, I like to
MILF and
MILF.
Okay,
it's MILF. MILF with the M.
The MILF army.
Yeah. Nilfgaardians. MILF army.
I like that.
The Nilfgaardian army. She destroys them, but then by doing so, it consumes her power, and she no longer can use magic. So she, through the most of this season, is on a quest to regain her magical abilities, and she does some questionable things to do so. On the other side, Geralt and Ciri are teaming up together. Finally, it was a long-awaited joining of these two characters. This season, they spend a majority of the time training with Ciri and also learning about just how damn special that little girl is. That is Geralt's whole reason for being, is to take care of Ciri. It's literally the only lines he says in this entire show is, "I'm here to take care of Ciri." That's all his job is. Henry Cavill got reduced to a side character this season. And then, let's see, there's a whole subplot about elves, and they're teaming up with the MILF Guardians, and there's alliances that are being made and broken and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're there's some Game of Thrones things going on this season.
Can we make a t-shirt that says Team MILF Guardian?
Yeah.
I think we should.
MILF Guardians. I'm going to tag that right now, guys.
Write that down.
Put that out on Twitter.
That's us.
All right.
the MILF Guardian gang.
The MILF Guardian army. Hell yeah.
We hail from Milfgard.
Perfect.
If we ever go LARPing, we got it figured out.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect for the
and the armor in season 1 looked like penises.
Yes, it did. They fixed that. Thank God they fixed that this season. That was fantastic. That was one of the better things. Anyway, all right. So my general thoughts for the opening of this season, I was very happy to see Henry Cavill back. I think he really owns Geralt as the Witcher, and I got to say, the first episode blew me away. I think they got off on a really good start. This first episode where they meet up in this abandoned town, and he knows the one dude, like the lord of the manor that lives there. And we get a huge, awesome backstory with him. And he's like this warthog dude who's been cursed by a witch. We learn about him as the episode goes on. He has a vampire living in his house. That first episode really started the season off right. And then it kind of went downhill from there for me. But what did you guys think about the opening episode of season 2? Conspiracy Tom, take it away, bud. What did you think about this first episode with the vampire and the warthog man and all that stuff?
I liked it. I thought he looked exactly like Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Did anybody else get that vibe?
Yes,
like exactly like him.
Very much so.
Yeah, which was cool.
I was getting more of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of vibe.
Like a Bebop?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
like
exactly.
What's the rat's name from that?
No,
Splinter?
no.
No, he's definitely talking about Bebop.
Yeah, Bebop.
Bebop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bebop.
Oh, the bad dude. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, the bad dude.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, but yeah. So let's get on it.
Well, did you guys notice that guy was played by Tormund Giantsbane
Yes.
without the
He
beard?
looks different without the beard, huh?
Yeah.
Is that who that was?
That's who it was. The big red bearded
Oh, yeah,
guy
yeah,
from
yeah,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones. Yeah.
Without the beard, you don't even recognize him.
No, I did not. I watched the behind the scenes episode, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's freaking him! That's crazy! What's that noise? What am I getting here? Is there an airplane flying over somebody's head?"
It was a motorcycle.
Oh, okay, that's Tom's fault.
Yeah.
All right. So, first episode, Tom. What did you think about it, bud?
I thought it was a good lead-in. I had just rewatched season 1 of The Witcher, so I was ready to pretty much dive into it, and it literally just starts right where it left off. I'm interested. I've only played the video games. I have purchased the books and never read them. How deep is everyone's knowledge on The Witcher in general?
Light video game playing and this TV show. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
I got some book knowledge.
I know a little bit of the books only because I've looked it up online, but Witcher's got a lot of lure. It's got, I mean, I played all the video games and loved them. So that's where I get my joy of this show. Henry Cavill does a good job. I mean, yeah, this season's a little funky, and I know we'll get into it, but I think it starts off right. It took a whole season for Ciri to meet Geralt. Okay, that's cool. And then we obviously know this whole season is Yennefer meeting them. So it's cool. I like the way it's going. It sets up fine. It starts off with good action. It's good. I like the monsters. I want more monsters.
Monsters are important. Yes.
Yeah, monsters are important. Yeah, I want more monsters. But so it starts off with monsters, and it's really cool. So I was happy with the way it started.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, if this show was just like Monster of the Week, following Geralt around, freaking slaying things, I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Old school serial TV where it's just like every week is a new problem that he'd be dealing with.
Here's what I need. I need Monsters of the Week, and I need Yennefer's tits every other week.
At least every other week.
Yeah, and we didn't get any of those things.
No.
So
we got
honestly, it's the hardest part of the season for me. It is the hardest part of the season.
We'll talk about Yennefer. Hold on. We'll talk about Yennefer in a minute. Vader, this first opening episode, did you enjoy the season 2 premiere?
I actually thought the first episode was probably the best one of the entire season.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
I tend to agree. I love that fireplace that you have in the backgrout, by the way. That's amazing. That's the Witcher.
That's the Witcher cauldron fire from Christmas morning.
That's fantastic. Well done, sir.
A nice ambient glow. So yeah.
So this first episode did well for you, but after that it was downhill. Is that pretty much the vibe I'm getting?
It was better than season 1. I wasn't confused. It wasn't like the goofy time jumps and penis armor and all this weird stuff, but it was. I don't know. They almost kind of oversimplified the story this year. You kind of get what I'm saying.
Felt like it was a very simple story that dragged out way too long.
Yeah, maybe.
They overcompensated. But we're going to talk about the writers and how much they hate the audience in a minute.
Okay.
Kadish, what did you think about the season 2 premiere and how the general season 2 went for you?
So the premiere was actually based off of one of my favorite Witcher short stories, which is called A Grain of Truth. And that was actually included in the book, The Last Witch, which previous season was based on. So basically Netflix got the rights to the books and they're making the show based off of the novels. And this season was mostly the first full novel, which is called Blood of the Elves or something like that. So they're being fairly faithful to the novels in terms of like the story that they're telling. I think that they took some liberties with this, and they also kind of took elements from future books and kind of like shoved them in there. I know that when we watched the finale of this season, Jude was very surprised by the big twist, and me being familiar with the games, I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that was coming. But it's kind of interesting because they actually got kind of meta this season, where there's actually a scene where this dock worker is talking to Jasker.
That's what I named the video on YouTube. If you guys read the title of this video, it is Why the Writers of Season 1 Hate You. And Kate just brought it up, so we might as well talk about it. But that scene took me out of the show so bad. I was
I loved
watching
it, though.
I hated it, man, because I was
I
like
thought it was
sitting there. I'm
funny.
like, it was kind of funny, but it was way too meta. Like, so the bard, we finally, that we get introduced to the bard again, and he's a little depressed that Geralt kind of like left him to hang. And he's helping the elves escape this town where they're being treated like second-class citizens, and they're being arrested and all kinds of crazy stuff. And the bard's kind of doing this like underground railroad situation where he's trying to get them out of the city. And in order to do so, he smuggles them onto the ship, but he gets interrupted by one of the dock workers or the owner of the boat or somebody. And he uses his fame and his charm to kind of get like, oh, don't worry about the paperwork. Let's just, don't worry about what I'm bringing on the boat. Let's just get going. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I know you. You're that famous singer. You're really cool. Yada yada yada. And then the dock worker's like, oh, except for that last song that you did, I didn't understand it. I didn't know there was multiple timelines.
I got confused by all the multiple timelines.
Yeah, he's like, it wasn't your best work, I gotta say. And then of course the bard, being literally becoming the writers of season 1, goes off on this guy and starts talking all kinds of trash about how he's an idiot, and if he doesn't like it, he should go make his own stuff.
And the dock worker was like, I saw the twist with the dragon coming a mile away.
Yeah,
Right.
Like it was a very, very meta moment, but at the same time, I was sitting there like, man, screw you. That people criticized the first season on like legitimate criticisms, and the writers felt so offended by this that they had to put a 10-minute clip. And actually what this whole situation causes more trouble for the elves and for the people who are hanging out with the bard character, and it seems so weird to me and so meta, and it took me out of the show.
I thought the bard conveniently being the guy that's smuggling the elves out and all, it's very contrived. It was very convenient. I get it. They needed to have a place in the story to insert his character in, but it just seemed kind of silly and weird to me.
Well, what's kind of funny is that in the books, so like, in the books, he gives a performance and the crowd starts kind of like arguing over like how accurate his telling of like this history is. And while they're arguing, he just kind of sneaks off, and then he gets captured and tortured to find like the location of Ciri and Geralt. So the show's actually kind of following what was in the books.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a little bit more fun with it, but I think like, I don't agree with you, Alex, that the writers were like kind of like justifying their bad choices in season 1, because they actually fixed this season. Like they got rid of the weird time jumps. They told a more straightforward story, and it seems like they got rid of the penis armor. Like they listened to feedback they got, and they course corrected. So.
In fact, there wasn't any Commodore 64 dragons on screen. I thought the effects this season were a vast improvement over season 1 with the creatures and demons and dragons or whatever they were, and I mean the CGI effects were way better.
Yeah, I definitely do give the writers credit for taking the criticism from season 1 and actively fixing the second season to the point where literally everything that I had a problem with in the first season is done and handled and taken care of in this one. So I do give them credit for it. I just thought it was a bit much to have that whole situation unfold and be very meta and have them like berate the audience from season 1 for a couple of minutes. Very strange choice for me. I think it could have done without that. But I can understand, like, I'm sure I'm sure they had fun doing it. So
that whole scene outside the boat where they were being goofy with that stuff, it kind of took me out of it, to be honest with you. It's like I didn't expect that from this kind of a show. You know what I'm saying? It seemed very strange. It seemed out of place.
Am I the only one here that liked the crazy time jumping in the first season? And I'm super annoyed by how linear this season was. It's just super annoyed by it because the first season set this wacky tone of you don't really know what order any of this is until the end. And when it's all said and done, I kind of like it. And this one, it felt just so straightforward to me. It felt too fast. It felt rushed. Albeit the special effects were not very good in season 1. I don't think they gave them enough money or something. They fixed a lot of that for season 2. But yeah, I liked the disjointed storytelling from the first season, really.
There's always one, isn't there?
I'm sorry. Always one. That's all right.
But anyway, let's talk.
1/4 of Americans are idiots, something like that.
According to the writers, then yeah.
According to the writers,
you're the smart one though, Tom. According to the writers, they agree with you. They're like, yeah, it was cool.
it was clever. Well, it's one of those things where if you go watch it a second time, you enjoy it a lot more because it makes a lot more sense of where it's going. Because the second time when I watched it, recently, I'd only watched it probably once the first time and then once again recently. And now that I had the story figured out, it was actually pretty enjoyable.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next big thing that I want to talk about is Yennefer and her whole storyline. We got the rest of the hour on this.
There's
an elephant in the room here. So Yennefer in the first season was a super cool character. She started out like a hunchback. She was all deformed. She learned magic. She fixed herself. She was freaking smoking hot by mid-season of the first season. And this one, she loses her power because of how much she used it during that battle. And they never let her recover from that this entire season. Like she trudges through some... She helps out the elves a little bit, escape from that town where she meets the bard and all that stuff. There's a big torture whole plot line where she's trying to escape with him. And it's a really cool storyline, and I had a lot of fun with it. But the whole time I was just like, man, they were freaking dragging Yennefer through the mud. And they did not let her recover from that. And, it was kind of comical because I didn't notice it on my first watch, but then I talked with Tom about it beforehand, and he's like, dude, she was fugly this whole season. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she totally was.
Perfect word, fugly.
They turned the hotness scale on her way down for this season. And I think
no more corsets, no more eyeshadow, no more lips, no more hair, nothing. You do your own hair, you do your own makeup, just show up, whatever.
It's like a Lucasfilm made this season or something.
Well, to give them credit though, because I do feel like it goes along with the storyline where she is down and out. She doesn't have her power. She's trying to escape. I do. It makes sense. Like I have to give them credit because it does make sense. But at the same time, I'm just sitting here laughing. I'm like, damn, I missed season 1 Yennefer. Kadish, what did you think about Yennefer's appearance in this? I want to hear what your thoughts are on here.
I mean, I was fine with her. I thought she looked fine. It was kind of book accurate. Like the whole thing about mages and their magic, that's what makes them kind of ethereal and attractive and stuff like that. And the fact that she was without her magic for most of the season, justifies what she looks. I was actually more interested in the transformation of Triss Marigold because they took a mixed race woman and gave her red hair, like the entire first season didn't even matter. It's like, oh, we're gonna make her look more like the comic book or the video game, even though she looks nothing like the character in the video game. So that didn't make any sense to me. Although I appreciate them trying to do it. But it just feels like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound type thing. I found all the characters a lot more interesting this season, I think that the fact that they're following the books a little bit more closely with the storylines and stuff definitely helps that. So I had no problems with the season at all.
Yennefer, she loses her power. She comes in contact with the main bad, evildoer of this season is a witch that lives in. Katie, she could probably name these names. I'm not that familiar with the source material, but this witch that lives in this cabin, and she gives Yennefer and a couple other characters some visions of the future and what they most desire, and that kind of like leads them into the plot line of like pretty much everybody in this season wants to get to Ciri because she's the most important person in the world and can cause the apocalypse and the wild hunt and all that crazy stuff. Yennefer's motivation in this season seemed a little thin to me. I don't know if it's accurate to the book. Kadish, maybe you can let me know, but I really didn't understand why she was willing to throw Ciri under the bus for this like weird witch lady that I don't know if she has a history with this in the books or not with this witch. What did you guys think about Yennefer's whole motivation for trying to get to Ciri and like basically sacrifice her by the end of the show? Vader, go ahead.
I was just waiting for boobs. I really didn't pay that much attention to her story.
Well done, sir. Kadish, what about you, buddy? What did you think about this? Can you kind of fill in a couple of the gaps for me?
I believe the witch was called the Deathless Mistress. if I'm not mistaken. I probably am. But you know, she was this this dark entity, this monster that was trapped by Witchers long ago, and she needs to feed off of pain, suffering, and misery in order to get enough power to break free of this prison that she was in. And it's kind of based off the Baba Yaga mythology. And so she's manipulating these events, you know, because like the elven leader and the two mages, Yennefer and I forget her name, but she's like the mage from Nilfgaard. They go and they meet with her, and the Deathless Mistress kind of sows the seeds to use them to create more pain and suffering in the world. And the whole thing about Ciri is that Ciri is so important because she could either be the savior of humanity or the person who leads to their destruction. And so like the whole thing with Yennefer was that the Deathless Mistress promised to give her her magic back if she could deliver Ciri to her. And so Yennefer, being the selfish bitch that she is, she's like, okay, I'll go do this. But then once she gets to know Ciri, she begins to realize that, you know, the whole first season was about her wanting to be a mother. And part of the story of Ciri is that she gets this surrogate mother and father in Yennefer and Geralt. And in fact, the video games happen much after the books end. So like the video games kind of pick up where like the book series stops. And a big part of the book series is like and Geralt learning to be parents to this girl who's like the chosen one, basically. And so like, you know, like I know you guys kind of joked that Geralt's a side character in his own show, but that's kind of the way it is in the books, where like he's basically like the protector of this more important character. And we see these little kind of like side stories where he goes off and does stuff, but the main thrust of the series is basically Ciri. It's pretty much like her story, but Geralt is a main player in it. So
I was just really bored with the whole Yennefer episode stuff. I don't know. It was like two different. I mean, I guess there was two different storylines. There was that storyline, and then there was the training stuff at the castle with Ciri, right? Is that her name?
Ciri,
yeah, Ciri.
At Kaer Morhen.
Yeah, when they were there, when they were in the Witcher land in the castle. Because I'm sorry, I don't know all the names, guys.
The castle with Karen Morn. I think
Kaer Morhen.
Kaer Morhen.
Yeah.
When they were there, I was dialed in. I was paying attention. I liked it. It was good. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
When we weren't there, when we were off saving elves and listening to Yennefer, you know, have too many clothes on, I was not interested in the show at all. But I liked the other stuff though. It reminded me like more of the video game stuff because I have played some of that.
Well, what's funny
is training and you know with the American Ninja stuff, and you know it was cool.
American Ninja.
What's funny is that in the first season, the TV show didn't have any of the video game rights, just strictly the rights to the books, which is why they had to change the look and feel of a lot of the stuff that they had. And I think in between seasons 1 and 2, they kind of got together with CD Projekt Red and worked out some type of deal where they could use the designs of the video games and stuff in the new season. And if you look at Kaer Morhen, like that thing, it's straight out of the video game. Like if you played the first Witcher video game, the Great Hall and all that stuff, it's like it looks exactly like the stuff that CD Projekt Red created for their video games, and it makes it feel better because the armor is more accurate to the video games.
Yeah,
the storyline, like everything felt more authentically Witcher because they incorporated a lot of the video game designs into this season, I think.
And I want to give this show a lot of credit here because they very easily could have slipped into Star Wars sequel territory with Rey. They've got a Rey character with Ciri. She's, you know, the end all be all to everybody. She's super powered
because they're actually letting her get trained.
That's what I'm saying. They spent a lot of time with Ciri learning and failing over and over.
Star Wars doesn't have a massive library of books or comic books or source material to pull from.
No.
Unlike The Witcher,
let's not make this a Star Wars bitch fest.
The Witcher actually has a long-standing, well-written series with which to pull from.
Yeah, not like the Star Wars universe at all. No,
there's no Mary Sue going on here.
No established fan bases or anything.
There really isn't any Mary suing happening, which I was super happy about. I was a little worried that was going to happen with Ciri, but they didn't. They kept, she kept trying new things and losing and getting beat up, and her determination was there. She wanted to become a Witcher. She was willing to sacrifice herself at one point during the episode where they learned that her blood can be used to create more Witchers. And she was like, I'll do it, but only if you test it on me first, which could have killed her. So there's like a self-sacrificing motivation here. She fails so many times in this season, and eventually starts to, with Yennefer's help, starts to learn her power a little bit.
Well,
so
I found it
thought
funny.
they handled Ciri really well.
I found it funny how all the Witchers kind of interacted with her, because in the story, the Witchers all come back to Kaer Morhen during the winter to kind of like heal and like get new supplies, new elixirs and stuff like that. And these guys, like, they don't know anything about like when she's on her period and like, like how to like interact with her and all this stuff. And it takes Triss coming to visit and help out, where she finally gets that kind of like female connection, where there's a scene where she shows up in a dress, and Lasker kind of like starts busting her balls about it. It's like, oh, look at the pretty dress. And she gets offended by that and runs away. And everyone's just like, dude, not cool. And he's like, what? So it's kind of like this girl crashing a dude bro frat house in a way.
Yeah.
So like
a bunch of 300-year-old alpha males walking around with swords.
And it felt really authentic, because like you didn't see that with Rey, where people were giving her a hard time about her desert outfits or whatever.
How long do Witchers live? I don't know anything about this
hundreds of years.
Guys.
Yeah, hundreds of years.
They're not immortal.
No, not at all.
But they do live a long time.
They age much like elves, I think.
Does that little potion they drink give them like some little extra
so what
longevity?
What happens?
Yeah, they're enchanted.
Well, no. What happens is that the Witchers have to go through this thing called the Trial of the Wills.
Okay.
And it's basically like 1 in 8 survive the trials.
Yeah.
And if you survive, you basically get mutated. You become a mutant. And that mutant gene that gets incorporated into you extends your life. It gives you enhanced strength and reflexes and the ability to wield magic. And the elixirs that they take just kind of like amplify that for a short period of time. It's a lot like MMOs where you drink a potion and, you're kind of jazzed up for a little bit.
That's cool.
Welcome, Snail Messiah. Welcome to the show. I noticed you in the chat. You seem to be a pretty knowledgeable Witcher fan, so thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. It says Witchers can live to be over 150-year-olds, but probably a lot longer. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's actually a prequel, an animated prequel movie on Netflix that has to do with Geralt's whole backstory from when he's a child and he meets Vesemir.
Well, it's Vesemir's story more.
It's Vesemir's story.
Yeah, it's Vesemir's story, but Geralt is in there, I think, and it kind of shows.
And
as a little kid, you love shows about little kids.
Netflix is actually releasing a prequel that shows like the elves up to the point where the conjunction of spheres happened. It's got like Michelle Yeoh in it and a bunch of stuff.
That's right. Yeah, I saw a
trailer. Like an actual show or animated?
Yeah. No, it's an actual like live action show. And it kind of shows you like what the world was like before the conjunction of spheres, where the humans and the monsters came into the elves' homeworld, and the kind of destruction that brought upon it. So I'm looking forward to that, because that's not really in the books.
Yeah, I'm actually, this show, I'll give this season a lot of credit because it made me want to learn more. Yeah. The first season didn't really do that for me. I was watching it because Henry Cavill's freaking cool.
That cartoon that you mentioned, the cartoon prequel with Vesemir, that kind of that showed the sacking of Kaer Morhen and the destruction of the Witchers. Basically, I believe the Witchers there was like a group of them that were creating monsters in order to fight the monsters. It's kind of like a fireman that starts a fire in order to fight the fire type thing. And once that was discovered, people started distrusting the Witchers and attacked the place where they're made. And that kind of shows like how Vesemir survived the sacking and brought up the current generation of Witchers, who are kind of like going to be the last ones, because all the mutagen got destroyed in the sacking. So
yeah,
it's a good kind of primer to what they're building up to, I think.
Right on. Danny, welcome, Danny. How you doing, buddy? He's in the chat right now. He actually mentioned something that I really wanted to talk about. So further in through the story, the elves have birthed a child, which I think is a rare occurrence, if I'm not mistaken, Kadish. it's something that doesn't happen very often. They're very pleased by it. The whole elven community is like, oh my gosh, we have this new child. It's a time to celebrate. And the child gets assassinated through this coup that happens because of the emperor, I think, sent somebody to kill him. And it was a really dark freaking moment in the show. And then in retaliation for this, the elven queen goes out and does like a full on like Moses and the pharaohs, like kills every firstborn in the land with some witch magic. It was bonkers. It blew me away. I had no idea they were going to go that dark. And I was like, holy, like, to me, that immediately makes the elves like irredeemable. Like, they are the villains from this point forward. I don't know if they're supposed to be or not, but my God, that was dark. What did you guys think about that?
The elves, so like the elves in the Witcher universe aren't like the elves in something like George R. or J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle Earth. The elves are actually kind of like second-class citizens. They were the original inhabitants of the world, but then once the humans came in, the humans kind of met them with subjugation. Like, the Witcher universe is very racist against elves. They hate elves and they hate dwarves, and so the dwarves are like kind of second-class citizens where they've almost been entirely wiped out. And so the last remaining vestiges, they're almost like American Indians, like Native Americans. Okay. And basically in this season, we're introduced to their new leader, who basically, she was one of the ones who went down to visit the Deathless Mother. And part of the Deathless Mother's whole thing was like, she wanted to orchestrate it so that all this pain and misery happened so that she could feed off it, which, was part of the whole thing with like the baby dying. But this is actually the genesis of an elven sect called the Scoia'tael, who are a group of elves who kind of like are guerrilla fighters up in the north. Like, they take on the northern kingdoms, and they're allied with Nilfgaard. And so like we're seeing the genesis of this very important kind of like elven sect in this season. And I think that it was very dark, but again, like, that's kind of like the whole thing with The Witcher is the books and the video game and all that stuff kind of operate in a shade of gray, where all these like horrific things happen and nothing's ever very clear cut, because they originally, the Nilfgaardians were teaming up with the elves, and kind of like an enemy of my enemy is my friend, to take on like the northern kingdoms. And when the elves found out that they could actually reproduce, like there was something that gave them hope that their race could endure, they decided, or they were kind of leaning towards like, maybe we don't need to align with Nilfgaard.
They kind of reneged on their deal with Nilfgaard, and that kind of sent Nilfgaard in this episode a little haywire. They were already on rocky ground with them. The alliance was real.
Well, what was interesting is the female mage who's aligned with Nilfgaard. I forget her name. Fringilla, I think her name's Fringilla.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So like she wanted to kind of continue the alliance with the elves, and the woman leading the elves was kind of like, I don't really want to continue this alliance. And Fringilla wasn't cold-hearted enough to kill the baby, but once that baby was killed, it galvanized the elves to make them do what they originally wanted them to do, which was fight against the northern tribes or the northern kingdoms. And so Fringilla and Cahir, I believe, they kind of both know that they weren't responsible for the death of the child, but they pretended that they were, so they could get the credit of the elves attacking the northern realms. And then at the end, we finally get to meet the Nilfgaardian emperor, and it turns out he was the one who ordered it, and he knew that they were lying when they said like, "Oh, this was part of our plan, my lord." Yeah. And so he basically just tells them to fuck off at the end of that season, which was pretty cool. But like that's a twist. Do you want to talk about the big reveal?
Let's get Vader and Tom's thoughts on the whole baby killing situation on this season.
Okay, so to just be very clear, I'm very against baby killing. Right off the bat, that's my official position. Very anti baby killing. It's rough and it's brutal. I mean, it's awesome though. Like I've played the games, and there's horrible things in those games. It's a lot of like the creatures that he has to fight, or abortions, or or some sort of like discarded children, and they mutate, you know, and that's a lot of what it is. So to have something super gruesome like this in the show, I can dig it. The show is supposed to be really dark, and so good. Put some literal horror elements in there. It's a cool show.
I was very surprised that they went that far with it, because I played the games a little bit. I know there's always a darker edge or a darker moral to the video game, like missions that you go on and stuff like that. There's one mission where you meet a character and he asks you to go find his wife and daughter, and it turns out that he's been abusing them for years and years, and that's why they left. So like there's always like this dark undertone, but I was like, holy crap, they went full on like let's baby murder. It was
even some of the
crazy.
elves were like, I think we might be taking this too far.
Yeah, she was real vengeful. I mean, a mother scorned, I guess. I don't know, but Vader, what did you think about that? Did that kind of take you off guard?
Yeah, baby killing's bad. I don't know what else to say. This is why Salty doesn't have me on the show on Monday nights, because I'm a man of few words.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, no, that was bad.
Yeah, that was some bad shit, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't like the elves. I thought they were kind of lame. I understand. I understand why people don't like elves and their stupid pointy ears and stuff. So yeah, I'm good with that. Whatever.
You guys remember that it was early on in the season, I think, but there was one episode.
I don't like short people either. I'm okay with them hating.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the dwarves in a minute.
Dwarves and elves, just get them out of here.
That was fantastic. Whatever. No, that was a fantastic moment in the show. But there was this one interaction between, I don't know, a guard, some random freaking I don't know, post guard or whatever, and a guy, an elf who was in chains, and he's been dragged along with the rest of his elves. And he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Can I please go to the bathroom?
Oh, that was brutal.
He's like, yeah, sure. If you have to go, I completely understand. Go ahead. Relieve yourself. He forced him to take a piss in his own. And I was just like, oh my, like that really set the tone really well for like the second class citizen and the racism going on within this universe.
There's some definite class parallels going on here. They're trying to like teach us some lessons and things, and stuff that they do in all these shows. And I don't know, man. I feel like I've seen all this stuff before in other shows, like the 10 Commandments and things. And, Charlton Heston did it a long time ago, a lot better.
Okay.
So,
all right.
It's fine.
So, Kadish, we want to talk about the big reveal. I honestly I felt like I was a little bit out of the loop because I felt like I was supposed to be surprised by this. But then when they revealed that the Emperor to the MILF Guardian, whatever kingdom was actually, I'm saying MILF Guardian every time. I don't care. He was actually Ciri's father, who we had presumed was dead. And we got glimpses of him in the first season. We got to know him a little bit, and he has like an interaction with Geralt at some point. But I was like, okay, I guess that's him. I didn't get that surprise. I think it's because I'm not really familiar with the source material, so I didn't know I was supposed to be surprised by that. So, Kadish, can you kind of fill us in on that a little bit? What was the big reveal there that fans of Witcher can kind of jump onto?
In the first season, they had been talking about how the original usurper of Nilfgaard got deposed by the rightful heir, and this new guy kind of comes in and takes Nilfgaard, which was this minor southern kingdom, and turns it into an empire that is just sweeping over the continent. And nobody has seen this guy. Nobody knows, like, where he came from, or like why people are so fervently, in favor of him and follow him blindly. And it turns out that the Emperor Emir is actually Ciri's father, the guy who was cursed with the hedgehog look. And his love of Ciri's mother kind of broke the curse, and Geralt was actually the one who kind of saved his life and invoked the
law of surprise,
and got Ciri. And so Emir, he knows of Ciri's lineage, but he wants her back because of the fact that she's his daughter. And I think in the video games, there's actually like this weird thing where he wants to marry her in order to have like an offspring that can carry on the gene that she carries, the the ancestral gene.
Oh wow, that's dark.
But in the games, he's like this really Machiavellian figure. He's like super conniving and smart, and just like the most deadly leader in all the land. And Geralt kind of goes head to head with him a couple times, especially over Ciri. But the big reveal, I think, for people who aren't familiar with the books or the video games, what was just that, like, oh, the guy leading Nilfgaard is Ciri's dad. And there were kind of hints at it throughout the season, but like if you ever played the video games, like this was not a big shock to you.
Okay.
But it was an interesting reveal, I think, for people not familiar with The Witcher, because it just adds a lot more context as to why Nilfgaard was so intent on getting her in the first season, and like her relationship to the Nilfgaardians in general.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting going forward, seeing how Emir starts moving the chess pieces. And we also got introduction to was it Graham McTavish as like what's his name?
That's the dude from Outlander, right?
Yeah, the dude from Outlander. He plays a really kind of important character from the books and the video games. It starts with a D. I can't remember his name. But his introduction, because that guy is like a super conniving dude, and he was the one who put like the elf boy into the kingdom to kind of like be his spy and stuff like that. And he was
really cool.
He's
I was
playing
having
4D chess.
Yeah, I had a hard time keeping up with what he was doing. Like he would pop up every so often, and I wasn't like, I knew he was a conniving person. He just looks like one, he acts like one, he talks like one. So it's kind of like, this is the character that I'm playing. So I got that. But when I was watching the show, I had no idea what his end game was. There was a freaking owl at some point. I was like talking to people.
He's the consigliere of one of the Northern Kingdom kings. And so he's basically making moves to kind of take the kingdom that he's aligned with and raise them up to conquer the rest of the Northern kingdoms and possibly the entire continent. So like he's making moves that are on the level of someone like the Nilfgaardian emperor. But he's kind of like the Dijkstra. Snail Messiah pointed out. Dijkstra is his name.
Dijkstra. J is silent. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And he basically, he's a big character in the video games and stuff like that. And he's just like super Machiavellian and very cutthroat.
So they're definitely laying down some like Game of Thrones political maneuvering throughout this whole season, and I really do enjoy that. I'm glad that they're doing it. I think it's
a big part of the books.
Yeah, I'm glad it's setting something up for season 3 that I'm getting really excited. I think by season 3, maybe I'll be a little bit more familiar with the source material, so maybe I'll get more out of the show. I'm definitely going to go back and watch season 1 and 2 again, and I'll probably watch. Yeah, I'm going to watch them again for sure.
You're a glutton for punishment.
No, not at all. I feel like I'm finally getting a handle on this because I'm brand new to this fandom, dude. I played Witcher 3 like for 20 minutes one time. That's really all I have.
I don't think I could watch season 1 again. I would just get confused. I'm old. I can't handle it, man.
I'm gonna dive into this because
I don't have that much time left, bro.
This show's getting me. I'm gonna dive into it. I'm gonna go watch that cartoon. I'm gonna get the backstory. I might go download the books on Audible or something. Like this show is I think it's gonna improve each and every season.
No, I think
it kind of started off a little rocky. Season 1's a little tough. Season 2's getting better. They've made some definite improvements. I think the more they do this, the better the seasons are going to get. And if we get to seasons 4 or 5, I think we're on a good ride here.
Did you guys understand the Wild Hunt and the significance of that?
I kind of likened it to like a Ragnarok situation, where the end all be all demons are going to come out of a portal and destroy the world type thing.
They're dark elves from a different dimension. I think is what it is. Sort
of. They're
right?
Not. So like the elders were like the original elves on the planet, and when the conjunction of spheres happened, the ones that didn't die off were kind of like, fuck this place, and they went to a different dimension basically, where they basically wiped out all of humanity in the new dimension. And but then they realized that without humanity, they had to do all the work themselves. So they created a kind of hit squad of magic using elves with the elder blood to kind of go and find humans that they could enslave and bring back to their dimension in order to serve them.
Okay.
And so basically this thing called the Wild Hunt is just the shock troop that goes from dimension to dimension, enslaving humans and bringing them back to the elven homeworld, basically. But they were originally from Geralt's world. And throughout the way portals in between worlds work is you need to have the magic of the elders, which Ciri has, or you need a unicorn that can open a gateway into a different dimension. And so without either of these, the Wild Hunt's kind of stuck. And so like they haven't been able to get back to Geralt's homeworld until recently. And now that they know that Ciri has the elder blood, they want to capture her and use her to continue enslaving other worlds out there. But they're all a forerunner to this thing called the White Frost.
Okay.
Before we get to the end of the world, yeah.
Yo, Matt said, I'm slightly familiar with the source material. Matt, you've talked this almost entire time filling us in with
Oh my gosh,
information, man.
that's amazing. I love it. I got to dive into this world. But super chat from Joker's Voice. Got to get ready for work. I'm not going to say that online. Great chat as usual. After I left you all this morning, I won another $400. Vader, your president is in the works. Have a great night, folks. Hashtag keep talking. Guys, thank you. First of all, Joker, Chuck, thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Guys, Joker Voice, he has just recently started his own YouTube channel, and he has hashtag keep talking. He deals with the speech impediment, and he's trying to bring awareness to other people who might have that, to encourage them to get out there and use their voice and jump into different fandoms. And we are 100% behind that. Hashtag keep talking. Use that on Twitter. Use that out there in social media. Let him know that you're behind him. And go check out his YouTube channel. It's active. He's doing Book of Boba Fett reviews, I think, every single week. So jump over there, show some support. And again, I'm going to say it again, hashtag keep talking. That was a fantastic hashtag, and we support the crap out of that guy. He's freaking awesome. Thank you, Chuck, so much. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes left for the hour.
I want to know, I'm going to jump ahead here because I'm tired.
Go ahead.
I'm tired of listening to Kadish talk about his limited amount of knowledge about these how did Geralt get his +5 armor of dinosaur slaying that he wore during this thing? Because did he just go pick it up out of the armory, or that was pretty cool. I like it.
Well, you know what's interesting is in the video games, like a really big part of it is crafting. Like you're crafting swords, you're crafting armor. It would have been interesting, like what Matt's saying is he just goes, "Oh, I could use these to make a really sweet armor," and just make them, and like he comes out later with some sweet ass armor. He'd be like, I could have been into that, but where did he get that armor?
It's like I know all the chicks like that armor, man, but I didn't. I could have at least used like.
He wanted a montage. That's what he wanted. He wanted an 80s montage of Geralt at a blacksmithing table.
Stitching it together.
Like he's in freaking Skyrim, just sitting over there, tink, tink, and you can see his smithing goes up as he does it.
Just 30 straight minutes.
Exactly.
It's a full episode.
I want to see his skill level going up as he's making that armor, And
then he played Gwent for 15 more minutes, and that was the whole episode.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone play Gwent in this.
He's playing Gwent for like 15 minutes.
God, that would have been glorious.
I'm still upset that we didn't even get Yennefer in like at least the bustier or something. It was. I feel completely let down and disappointed by this entire season. I would have even been okay if she had been in like a hot tub or something with Cavill again. And
was there any bathing in this?
In the first episode, Ciri bathed.
Ciri, but I'm talking like Geralt's the one. Everybody wants to see Cavill in a freaking bathtub with bubbles, bro.
I'm sure even me. It's like whatever.
We did it like 4 times in the first season. I thought we were going to get more of that.
He didn't bathe this season, and everyone was talking about how bad he smelled the entire season.
Cavill's a good-looking dude, but I keep reading and seeing all these articles online about Cavill when they're filming this thing, and he's like always trying to tell them, you really need to like stick closer to the source material, kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
so,
there's every interview that I've seen, every behind the scenes video that I've watched, everybody freaking just rants and raves about how knowledgeable Henry Cavill is about this. He's like, I think there was a scene when Roach dies. Roach gets like clawed to death by a giant dragon monster.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. That made me more mad than the baby getting killed.
The horses, all of his horses are named Roach, right?
Yeah, but still,
okay.
I wasn't cool. You can't kill a horse like that.
That's not like the Roach.
That really upset me.
More than the baby.
More than the baby.
Because, you're freaking weird, man. But no, like that. There's a line that he says.
Animals have feelings too, bro.
There's a line that he says to. Let me finish. There's a line that he says to his dead horse or dying horse that is like ripped straight from the pages of one of the books, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, freaking Henry Cavill! That dude is freaking awesome. He's like super fit, super handsome guy who's also just like a huge nerd."
Didn't he?
He's awesome.
Doesn't the urban legend go that he almost didn't make his not interview, but what do you call it? The actor goes to
audition.
Yeah, he almost missed his audition because he was in a WoW tournament
playing World of Warcraft. He was in a raid.
Yes,
he was in a raid. He was like in Molten Core.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to leave to go do his audition.
Listen,
he wasn't going to leave.
When you're in a 40-man raiding guild and you're at Ragnaros, you have no idea how much time and effort has gone into getting that. Especially,
hey man, I've watched that Leroy Jenkins video like 400 times. I'm aware.
I need to know if you know what Henry Cavill's freaking screen name is in World of Warcraft.
I don't know.
You gotta find out, bro.
We should all find out. I had to quit playing because it became.
Yeah, he's Superman. He's Geralt.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I'll tell you the truth.
Right? No, he's more. What else is he?
Probably going to be James Bond pretty soon.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. He was in. I love that movie.
Nah, nobody likes that. Keep going.
Alex is the one guy.
I love that movie. It was great. I know you guys are talking about.
Yeah, Goonies sucks. Man from U.N.C.L.E. amazing.
Yes. Don't forget Sahara.
Sahara's also good.
Sahara is really bad. Ooh, that is really bad.
We're off topic now. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so let's talk about the big finale of season 2. I had a ton of fun with this episode. I mean, anytime there's like raptor-like dinosaur creatures, I'm in. So Ciri gets possessed by this witch who has caused enough harm around the world to gather enough strength to escape her prison, and she goes and she possesses Ciri, who's the most powerful person that she could find. And in doing so, Ciri then becomes the witch, and she opens this portal and allows monsters in from the Netherverse.
Well, only after fucking killing half the Witchers.
Yes,
that's my big problem.
When that was happening, I was like, "What's going? Who are these guys that she's killing?" Then it's like, "Oh, those are like the Witchers."
No, she went straight to the castle, the Witcher's castle, and she started murdering them in their sleep, like slitting their throats while they were sleeping. Very dark. Also, I got the impression that there was way more Witchers than we actually saw, and I think that might have been like a COVID thing because they could only have so many people on set at a certain point. So like the halls in the Witcher castle always felt really empty to me.
They
and
are.
Then Ciri starts like offing like 4 or 5 different people, and I'm like, are there that many? I thought we were low on numbers here. What's
really
like,
low? This is like all of them. This is like all of them.
That's what I was saying.
There were like 8 or 9 of them at the beginning of the season.
And there's like how many left at the very end? I felt like there was 8 or 9 left.
Like 4.
Yeah, like 4.
Well, Vesemir and Geralt were 2. So who were the other 2? I don't know. I felt like
Lasker survived. Pretty sure.
Who?
They
Lasker.
I couldn't remember any of the names, but a few lived. But a lot those giant like lizard chickens killed a lot of them, and she killed a lot of them. Right?
Okay. Yeah, she did kill a lot.
Those things were very Jurassic Park, right?
I know. That's why I loved it. I was so stoked.
Cool. No, they had a good budget this year for monsters. They did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool fight scene.
The reveal that there was like a monolith within like the tree that was in the heart of Kaer Morhen. That was pretty cool.
Again, that was another thing where
we finally got an explanation as to like what that thing was that Ciri like broke in the first episode.
In the first season, we have
because like the entire time I was like, what was that big rock doing there? Why did it create that big crater? And it's like a whole season later we find out. It's like, oh, okay, thanks, show. I
still up there. I still chuckle when people say things like, we finally got to see that, and we're talking about something that happened like
2 seasons,
6 episodes ago. You know, so. But yeah,
that's a way to put it in perspective, Vader, for sure. Like we're in season 2, we're like, finally we got an answer to that question.
8 hours of showtime earlier when somebody asked us a question that we didn't know the answer to until just now. I mean, yeah, I get it. But
No, it was a fun final episode. I liked seeing all the Witchers working together, fighting. The monsters were really cool. Geralt's fight with that one, what'd you call it? A dragon lizard or something? It was chicken lizard. It was really a lot of fun. And what I thought was kind of goofy though was the very ending, how they defeated the witch who was inside of Ciri is with kindness.
Love, and friendship.
The power of friendship is how they defeated the big bad of the season. I was like, it was kind of an eye-rolly moment for me. I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I thought they were going to use a potion and some like counter magic or something, but they were like, we love you, Ciri. You're a really good person, Ciri.
Yeah.
We believe in you.
Which was like niceness, my only weakness.
So
it's so goofy.
Is the thing with Ciri are there no other female Witchers? I just don't know.
There are no female Witchers. They established that in the first season.
And that's why she's kind of special or whatever.
Well, she's not really a Witcher though.
Not yet.
The thing that makes her special is the fact that she's a direct descendant of the Elders, which are the most powerful magic users in the universe.
She can control time, right?
Well, she can open portals to other dimensions. She can she basically has more power than any of the mages combined on the planet.
Oh, so she is a Mary Sue.
She wanted to become
she's not a Mary
Witcher.
Sue. She's just very powerful.
I'm joking. Okay.
She wanted to become a Witcher, because she didn't want to sacrifice anybody else and risk killing somebody by giving them the potion, and also she desperately wants a father figure that she can follow, and Geralt is that father figure as of right now.
Also, Geralt realized that in order to best protect her, he had to train her to protect herself.
Yeah,
and in doing so, it put this thought in Ciri's head that she wants to be just like Geralt, who's a Witcher. And so, like, she actually tries to take the mutagen that would turn her into a Witcher, but Geralt prevents that.
I love this comment from Jude. Ciri can't be a Witcher. She don't have enough big dick energy.
But she does, though. She really does.
She's tenacious at best.
You think that 16-year-old little girl has big dick energy, Vader?
Dude, look, I'm going to go down.
Be careful. This is recording.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to remove this. You're gonna have to remove this episode.
I'm gonna go down to the American Ninja course.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna go nope, and I'm gonna go back up to the castle and I'm gonna drink a beer. Ciri went down there and said, "I'm gonna conquer this thing." That's big dick energy, bro. That's
okay.
Like you know what I'm saying. She's
got some gumption.
She got some gumption. She got some chutzpah. She's got some chutzpah. Yeah, that's me not being able to talk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but she definitely has that thing that she needs to do that. So yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get into final thoughts for season 2. In general, I thought this was a little bit slow during the middle. It picked up really great. The very first episode was amazing. I loved it. I'll probably go back and watch that episode again just for fun. It dips in the middle when they start doing a lot of the political movement. I think that's on me, though. I think if you are more familiar with the source material, if you're somebody like Kadish who's read the books and you have some kind of a foundation to like watch the show with, I fell out of that part of the show. Like, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know whose side anybody was on. I was just kind of like going along for the ride. And then by the end, it picked up again, and we had a lot of fun with the big bad and this, the possession of Ciri and learning about her powers and stuff like that. So I think for me, overall, a vast improvement from season 1. I had a ton of fun with a lot of the monsters. Quality of the CGI and stuff like that went way up. A lot of really good things to watch in this, and I think we're in the right direction for season 3. I think it's just going to get better and better and better. At least that's what I'm hoping, and I hope that I can, by the time season 3 comes out, I hope that I can have enough knowledge going in to like really enjoy the hell out of it. So
like 2025.
Sure, I'll still be watching TV by then. So Vader, general thoughts, season 2 or final thoughts? I mean, what's your?
I'm kind of in the same ballpark as you. I actually really liked season 2 much more than season 1. That doesn't mean it was great, because I liked half of this stuff and I didn't like the other half of the stuff. Like I said earlier, I like the stuff that at the Witcher in Witcherland at the castle. That was fun. But the rest of the show was just kind of whatever. I'm really disappointed that the minstrel dude, his song this season was abominable. It was terrible.
You didn't like Burn Bitcher?
No. I did not
Burn,
like it.
What is it? Burn Butcher Burn. Right?
Burn bitch burn. I don't know.
Not quite as catchy as Tussacoin.
I went out and I listened to all the heavy metal remakes on YouTube.
Yeah, from Dan Vasc.
And Toss a Coin to Your Witcher is far superior to cover for the metal dudes than whatever this song supposedly is. Yeah, so no.
Okay.
The song this season, it's a thumbs down.
What'd you think about the dwarves in this season, though, dude? I thought you were cool. Sure you were going to talk about them.
They were fun. I really like the dwarf lady with the beard.
With the beard, yes,
super
the bearded
hot.
Lady.
Super hot. Yeah, I really appreciated that. Yeah, that was really good. And so yeah.
Okay, cool. Tom, how about you, bud? Final thoughts on season 2?
I think this season got a lot more money than the first season, and I think they used it really well. They upgraded, the sets are sharp, the CGI is better. I'm a big fan because I've been playing these video games, so I like this show. I was really wanted to see Geralt have a really badass moment this season that I really didn't feel like he had. He had the one fight where he was barehanded and then took all the weapons and killed him, but I still feel like he seemed more badass in the first season. So I'd like to get a little bit more badass for my Geralt going on, but I'm really happy it's coming together. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I need Yennefer to be hot again. It really did. I mean, even just a corset, it's really gonna mean a lot to me.
If she gets her magic back, she'll
I just need a little bit more magic and a little bit more magic, a little razzle dazzle. You know
a little bit more eyeliner.
A little more eyeliner.
Yeah,
she was amazing in season 1. Other than the stupid complaining that I'm doing, it's good. Big fan. I like where they're going. I see season 3 mapped out in front of me of where they're going. The husband, wife, surrogate daughter, they've come together. I'm excited. Season 3 will be good. The show's getting better. Let's keep it going.
Cool. Candy, how about you, bud?
I just remember the bearded dwarf lady. That was amazing. Yeah. So
Just got to mention it again. Bearded dwarves. Amazing. All right, Kadish, final thoughts on season 2, bud.
I really liked season 2. I thought it was a big improvement over season 1. They've laid the groundwork for the Wild Hunt, which I think is going to be a big part of season 3. And the whole Geralt, Yennefer, Ciri kind of triangle thing going on there, which is kind of the crux of the book series. It'll be interesting to see that going forward. And, I actually like a lot of the political intrigue. I find it very interesting. So going forward, I feel like they've got a really good foundation with which to kind of do another 5 seasons with. So I'm excited for it. And it was good. I liked it.
Right on. Wow, we all liked it for different reasons. That's cool.
Parts of it.
Parts of it. All right, everybody. That has been our season 2 of The Witcher panel. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Again, thank you for Joker for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to get even more content from us, go to saltynerdclub.com and join that club membership. It's only $5 a month. You guys get access to 4 exclusive podcasts every single month. This month, we're doing Doctor Who. Next month, we're doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And after that, I believe we are going to be, I'm leaning on Eureka, if you guys are a fan of that show. So jump into the club membership, guys, and you guys can get access to a ton of really cool stuff. Shut up. Are you poo-pooing my freaking stuff already? 2 months early? Get out of here, sir. Where can they find you on the socials, Matt Vader?
Right there.
Right there, at Matt Vader 74. I'll read it for you, lazy son of a bitch. Tom, where can they find you at, bud?
Oh, you know me. I'm basically off the grid. But if you really want to say, hey, follow what I'm doing, I travel a lot, I cook a lot, and I do a lot of nerdy shit. It's just Big T2681 on Instagram.
There you go, Big T. One of these days, I'm going to ask you where that came from. Matthew Kadish, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish. I'm a blue check mark on Twitter, so I'm very easy to find. And KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page if you want to check out my novels, and that's pretty much it.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We got upwards of 20 people in the chat today. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Every Monday night, we're doing the Salty Nerd podcast late night. It is a different show every week, and we do panels like this. We have a ton of fun, and we talk some crap. So thank you again, and I hope everybody has a fantastic night, and stay salty. See you guys next week.